Lucid dreaming is a scam. And no, I don't mean the physical act of lucid dreaming. I mean the forums, the devices, the supplements, the phone apps. It's all a scam. These companies have been lying to consumers for years, claiming to be the trick to lucid dreaming. They've been tricking creators such as myself by using scientific wording to make themselves sound credible.
I give it an A+.
And all of these shortcuts to lucid dreaming has cost consumers millions and millions of dollars, even though the sellers know that the science just is not quite there yet. In this video, I'm going to dive into each one of these shortcuts and figure out if they're true or untrue about being able to help you lucid dream more. Are they scam or no scam? For the last 3 years, I've been teaching myself and others how to master lucid dreaming. Due to an absolutely plagued topic filled with an unreal amount of misinformation, I was misled on a lot of the stuff that I thought was true. One of those things is tracking sleep cycles. I've just recently learned that apps that claim to track your sleep cycles are flat out lying. And I have been spreading that lie, and I'm sorry. But now that we know the truth, we can move forward and spread nothing but the truth. Sleep apps use what's called an accelerometer. This device tracks movement. While you're asleep, you're constantly moving, and the app picks that up, throws it in an algorithm, and gives you a sleep quality score. There's only one problem with this. The only way to know what stage of sleep you are in is through brainwaves, in a laboratory with expensive equipment. Another problem with an accelerometer is you can just fake it. I can lay still and not move, and the app will think that I'm asleep. It's incredibly inaccurate. Now, I'm not saying it's not important to track when you're going to sleep and when you're waking up, and also tracking habits that you have to see what helps you sleep better and what helps you sleep worse. I'm saying that it's not realistic to rely on a phone app that claims to track your sleep when it actually has no idea when you're sleeping and when you're not. Scam. Devices are just as unreliable as phone apps. Maybe slightly more reliable though. Dream masks, Fitbits, and a new bracelet called a Totem X all claim to be the ultimate lucid dreaming device. But what's really the science behind them? The dream masks became popular in 2020. I made a bunch of videos on them saying that they work, but only if you understand how to actually use them and if you get a little bit lucky. One of the downsides to them is that they're uncomfortable and you have to literally program it perfectly to time with your sleep cycles. They were also going for a decent amount of money and people bought them, and there were a lot of really bad reviews on them saying that they didn't work at all. Well, if you don't have an understanding of what REM cycles even are, or if you used an app, which we've just talked about doesn't actually track your sleep, how are you supposed to know when to program it? That's the problem with the mask. So yes, it works if it's programmed correctly and you get a little bit of luck, but how are you supposed to program it if you don't know when to program it? I'm gonna give this one a half scam. Now, wearables are becoming the next big lucid dreaming device, the totem of lucid dreaming devices. Literally, this product is called the Totem X. This device reminds you to do reality checks by buzzing your wrist during the day, and then it tracks your sleep and buzzes your wrist when it thinks you are in the dream. Now, what's one of the problems with this device? Well, it uses an accelerometer. Once again, is completely unreliable in tracking the stages of sleep. Now, the difference between this device and a phone app is this device has a built-in PPG. Now, if you didn't know what a PPG is, a PPG tracks your blood movement through your vessels. Now, these can also be rather inaccurate. If I choose to lay completely still, not move at all, slow my breathing down, that's also going to slow my heart rate down. The bracelet is going to think that I'm asleep, even though I'm wide awake, I'm just very relaxed. And this is what a lot of the studies done with PPG bracelets have shown. There's about a 10 to 30 minute difference between when you're actually in the certain stages of sleep and what the bracelet shows that you are in. So obviously this can make it hard to track your sleep cycles. The lab testing that was done with PPGs also used a red infrared light, while commercial products use a green light that also makes it slightly more inaccurate. Besides the technology in the bracelet, it also buzzes you on your wrist when it thinks that you're inside of a dream. Now, I did a lot of research and I could not find any studies that backed the idea that if you physically touch somebody in the real world, it's going to correspond to the dream world. There's not really any studies on this. In fact, from experience, if you touch a sleeping person, they're just going to wake up. So even if you don't wake up and this thing does buzz your wrist, you're not even going to feel it inside of the dream. So from what I understand about this device, it is a scam. Now we're going to go off on a little bit of a neurochemistry tangent. One of the most popular lucid dreaming supplements is galantamine. Galantamine is an acetylcholine esterase inhibitor. Now let's break down as simply as possible what that is. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter critical for memory. When we go to sleep, our levels of acetylcholine and norepinephrine drop, which may be why we often forget dreams. Acetylcholine esterase breaks down acetylcholine to prevent muscle fatigue and rapid firing of nerve cells. When you introduce an acetylcholine esterase inhibitor, it stops acetylcholine esterase from breaking down acetylcholine, which allows the brain to continue normal function asleep as if it were awake, which has shown to increase the chances of having a lucid dream. That's what all of the studies I have found indicate. So obviously this is not a scam, but hold up a second. Galantamine is used in people that suffer from Alzheimer's and dementia. In fact, in many countries, you require to have it prescribed to you by a doctor. The reason for this is there is not a lot of long-term use studies done on galantamine. Why? Because, well, people with dementia and Alzheimer's that use this drug don't live long enough for us to see long-term effects. And that's what it is. It's a drug. It alters the chemistry inside of your brain. It makes it do unnatural things to your brain. And in my opinion, that's incredibly dangerous to do to yourself. Now, if you're just gonna say, Nate, screw yourself, I'm just gonna do it anyways, I'm here for a good time, not a long time, go talk to a doctor. You never know what the effects of these things might be on you, so go talk to a doctor. But I suggest that if you wanna learn how to lucid dream, you just do it the natural way, and you eat foods that boost the amount of acetylcholine inside of your brain, rather than force your brain to stop the natural process of breaking them down. So we're gonna give supplements a dangerous half scam. Now, where do I even begin? The amount of vacuous nonsense and misinformation that gets spread incredibly quickly on social media and forums is atrocious. Now, I'm gonna make more videos in the future about this misinformed content, so I'm not gonna dive too deep into this stuff, but I would not rely on any forum or creator to give any sort of accurate information about lucid dreaming unless they have really done their research, and you can really tell who has and who hasn't. If something sounds too good to be true, it's probably not. So we're gonna give social media and forums a scam. Read a book about lucid dreaming instead. Now, I'm probably pissing off a lot of people with this video, especially the people that make money off of you guys, but so be it. You guys should be aware of this. You should be aware of the scams, and you should save your money. Now, if you want to learn how to master lucid dreaming correctly and safely, consider subscribing. Comment if you have any questions, and if you like this video, I will do everything that I can, everything in my power, to make sure that you have a lucid dream as soon as possible. Sweet dreams, guys, and good